All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA show. So what I'm going to get into this is, basically I'm going to call it is learn to take a hit. I did a previous YouTube video where I kind of talked about when did everybody get so sensitive? And I kind of brought up as a joke, actually it's not a joke. When you grow up in kind of a certain type of household, I grew up in a hardcore Italian household, household outside Chicago. And, I goof around and say, you got to not only take a verbal hit, you catch a crack, you catch a beating as well a lot of times. And, I think a lot of people, now more than ever, they just can't take a hit. Now, I'm not telling people that this isn't catching beatings. I'm more talking about verbal kind of abuse or social media and people just being a bitch a lot of times when it comes to this. I don't know really back to how people got so sensitive. I don't understand it. And I get a lot of things sometimes people say may hurt you. Okay, I'm not going to pretend that doesn't. They may do things that hurt you. That's obvious. But you have to get over it. Dwelling on it does nothing. Also, getting in arguments, I discussed this in there too, especially when it comes to political views, religious views, whatever the case may be. Are they really worth it? Most of the time, they're not. There's nothing wrong with having conversations, I think, either. That's not what I'm saying. But back to, taking a hit. I see so many people that can throw it out, but can't take it. It's unbelievable. Listen, if you're going to bash people, don't think you're not going to get bashed, right? And back to beatings, I'm going to throw this in because if you've heard any of my previous podcasts, a lot of guys out there think they're a lot tougher than they are. They get in situations where they get the shit kicked out of them. I got a newsflash for a lot of guys out there that think they're tough, especially middle-aged. For the most part, middle-aged dudes, they're not in that good a shape. Okay? They also can get winded very easily. I also think a lot of younger people are kind of one or two things that I see. A lot of them are either gamers. A lot of them sit around too much. They don't have a lot of physical strength. They're more, like I said, in front of the computer, that type of lifestyle. Or fitness-wise, they're badasses. Not only are they maybe taking up mixed martial arts or whatever the case may be, they're strong. They're fit. You know what I'm saying? When I worked out in the early days, I was one of far and few between. A lot of people played sports, say in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. A lot of people. But they didn't work out in the gym as hardcore as we do now. Or they did, or I did, and still do. But I'm just throwing that in there. Just be aware. If you are going to be thinking you're a tough guy, I don't care where you're at, especially in this day and age, you better be ready to take a hit. And, and I catch myself there too, wanting to get huffy-puffy regarding certain people. But the last thing I want to do is get in a jam anymore. It is not. What is the fight worth? 99.9% of the time, no fight is worth me going to the hospital at this point in time or putting somebody else in the hospital. I'm just saying. So, but back to taking a hit, just in life in general. If you are a creator, right? So I'll just say my podcast, my YouTube, because obviously you're listening to this, is, I get a lot of great feedback, actually. And I think a majority of it is from people I know. And I also get bashed, too, or made fun of, especially on YouTube. And I like it. I like the attention. I can take the hit. I see the funniness in it. I just had another guy say, I did a tour inside. One of my most viewed videos is me walking around Mall of America in Minnesota. I just said, let me shoot a video. I'm here today. It's a type of joke thing. I did there, and I did West Edmonton Mall. Those are two of the biggest malls in North America. And a guy said, when did Bill Burr start doing, mall tours? Which I may have mentioned this once before in a podcast. I'm laughing my ass off. Or they're like, what's this bald dude doing? The whole thing. Just people making fun of me left and right. Many different things. I even got in a beef with a guy, which was hysterical. And I played along with it regarding the Mall of America, him arguing with me regarding Chick-fil-A. And I started F-bombing, but I was joking. He went off the charts with it. He didn't realize I was just kidding. Again, take the hit, man. Because again, I think there's so many people out there hiding, especially behind their computers. I don't care if it's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, YouTube, that are really great at throwing insults out there. But God forbid they get insulted. What the fuck is wrong with you? First of all, if you're going to let somebody you don't even know, you know what I mean, take it to the level where they're hurting your feelings or insulting you to the point where it ruins your day or, affects your life to that level, that's, in my opinion, kind of insane. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone, you don't know does say something that kind of hurts, but sometimes when they say things, there's a lot of truth to it, too. Even if someone makes fun of my YouTube, like, dude, learn to hold the camera right or learn to do this, I get it. What they don't know is, one thing is they're probably actually right. I should probably maybe sometimes steady it out a little more regarding certain things, but they don't realize if I'm walking around with a tripod or look like I'm shooting, a lot of establishments won't let me shoot that. But I can take it personal either way, but I'm not, because I understand, but I also understand, man, if you're watching this, it should be more stable. So there is some truth a lot of times, I think, when somebody throws a dig on you or says something to you, I think, too, it's not always meant to hurt your feelings. It's just somebody being kind of blunt. I grew up with a lot of aunts and uncles. Holy shit, were they blunt. And even some of my closest friends that own, say, Italian restaurants, a lot of Sicilians, too, they will hit you between, they'll just address you a different way. I love that because I know how they're thinking. There's no phony bullshit attached to it. Where I think it's either sometimes one way or another with people, too, where they lash out to try to hurt you, or they're kissing your ass and just, telling you how great things are when they're really not, too. But I just want to do a quick podcast on this because somebody brought up, it was kind of funny, on one of the comments, again, it was either YouTube or Facebook, like, Rich, I grew up in an Italian household. I think it was YouTube. And I don't know this guy. He's like, I liked how you incorporated, taking a hit, right, in more ways than one. And I said, you know what, I got to do a podcast on that because the truth is, in life, you're going to be constantly getting hit. A lot of people are going to try to knock you down. I also think my mother always said, you can knock me down, but you're not going to knock me out. And if you kind of live by that rule to a certain point, I think you're going to be fine. Because no matter who you are, I think, in life, you're going to be bullied. You're going to have people that treat you really well at times, treat you horribly at others. You're going to have people that behind your back talk shit online about you, argue with you, want to fight you, all this type of shit. And you got to realize it's just part of life. You can't avoid it unless you go off the grid and you just don't deal with people in general. But most likely you're going to deal with a lot of negativity in your life. So just something to really pay attention to and not let that shit make you crazy. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. I know so many people, though, that want to start their own endeavor, especially like, hey, I want to start my own, back to YouTube, podcast, vlog, blog, whatever the hell they want to do. Their own company, for that matter. But what holds them back is what they think other people are going to think about it. Listen, you can't get caught up in that shit, man. You got to figure out your own way. Do what you want to do. You think you're going to create something for everyone else. You're nuts. You just got to, understand that if you want to do something, you have to value it. You cannot, again, get caught up with how everyone else is going to perceive it. Because, I always say, if you line up 1,000 people, if one person likes your stuff, you're on to something. I think a lot of people think, oh my God, I got to do something and, I got to kind of almost, everybody else has got to appreciate it and everybody's got to, like it and all this. I can assure you that is not going to be the case. You are not most likely going to be Nike at the beginning. You're not going to be some major brand that everybody, for the most part, really buys or uses. So you just have to understand that that's not the way to go about it, in my opinion. Go create what you want to create. A lot of people are going to like what you do. Most people that don't know you aren't going to give a shit about what you do. Okay, just a newsflash. But then again, you keep moving forward and hopefully eventually people will, who enjoy what you're doing will either buy it from you or be a part of it. That's all you can do. All right? All right. I'm going to wrap it up there. If you get a chance, check out my YouTube channel. It's actually my name, Rich CELENZA. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All right? Learn to take a hit. All right.